what you do with your liking towards someone, dun din magwe-weigh if it's something wrong or hindi. How you reflect your actions by liking someone shows if it's right or wrong. For example, sinabi kong gusto kita, pero all I do is toxic stuff to you. This display of my toxic affection to you, diba? Every minute, tatanungin kita, saan ka na? Kumain ka na ba? Where are you? Ganyan. 1 minute pa lang, miss na kita. Ganyan. So, that's wrong, diba? Kasi if you really like that person, genuinely, you would not do that. You would always think, ano ba yung, sa kanya? Parang, comfortable siya. Saan siya comfortable? Siya yung priority mo eh. Kasi, you're wooing that person. So, ayaw mo ma-bad shot. Diba? Whether friends or hindi. Ayaw mong ma-bad shot dun sa taong gusto mo. Second, how do I deal with it, diba? Kahit sinabi ko na parang slow burn kasi ako, ganyan, it will take some time, ganun.
Yeah.
You've done your part.
Okay.
Na you became honest, you've laid out your cards, na parang, eto ako ito yung priorities ko ngayon, ito yung gusto kong mangyari sa ngayon, I wanna be friends muna. So, nasa kanya yung decision if that person will take the risk. And if he did, waiting and professing yung attraction niya sa'yo, diba? Display of affection and stuff. It's his move, it's his act. But, I realized recently din talaga na since ikaw yung mas level-headed, you are the rational person in that kind of setup, you have to also think, if you are genuinely concerned for that person, to always think din halimbawa sa well-being niya. Kasi that's when the time na parang you have to think if it's healthy pa din ba sa side niya. Kasi that person sees you on a rose-colored glasses. Diba? And you see the person on a neutral way or parang okay, interested ka sa taong to, you want to talk to him or her, diba? So mas level-headed ka kasi slow burn ka, pero that person is seeing you in rose-colored glasses. So meaning bias siya na parang kahit anong gawin mo, okay lang, kahit mag-away kayo or mag-disagree kayo along the way, na pag-uusapan naman, nare-result naman, okay lang. Pero you have to also be concerned if okay pa ba yung presence mo dun sa taong yun.
Yeah.
Kung nakikita mo as a slow burn individual, yung potential na makabuo ng relationship to that person, whether what kind of relationship that is. Halimbawa, nakikita mo na it can grow to something more, then okay Pero if you see na parang it's something na hindi, or parang you really see that person as a friend, as a close friend, or parang an important friend in your life, but then again meron siyang gantong feelings for you, you have to also consider his well-being or her well-being, diba? Kasi you are the one seeing all the picture the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So, kung concerned ka sa tao talaga, and you are not just there just because you are happy to get to know the person while the person is available to you, then you have to make the decision. Yun. Although medyo nasa yung burden kasi ikaw yung nakakakita And but then again, it all boils down also to communication. You have to also ask the person. Okay pa ba to? Ano ba yung mas makakabuti sa'yo? Ano ba yung dapat nating gawin? You level off. Diba? You talk to each other. Ano ba dapat yung gawin? Kasi, of course, you have to decide. Pero at the same time, you have to also consult the person. Kung ano yung decision mo. Sabi nga nung isang napanood ko ay parang, for example, if you're saying a no, you have to contextualize your no. Kasi, saying no, just as no, means like shutting the person off. Like closing the door and nothing more. And same with yes, diba? When you say yes to something, you have to explain why yes. Kasi if you just say yes, it will make the person happy. Pero, what's more to it? Bakit ka nag-yes? Diba? Of course, the person will ask. And sometimes, when it comes to no, we don't.
You don't explain at all.
We don't explain at all, or we don't ask at all. Kasi we're afraid of what does no mean.
Yes.
Pero we have to outgrow that. We have to unlearn that.
Pero sometimes people would have difficulty contextualizing their no or their yes. And sometimes it also backfire them, diba? If you say no and it seems that you're, alam mo yung no mo with reservation, diba? Yung ganong no, it always backfire.
Yes.
It's like kumbaga parang slow death for alam mo yun, just slow death siya for other people kung hindi malinaw yung pag say mo ng pag contextualize mo ng no. Siguro the lesson here is basically the lesson here is if you want to make an answer to a certain question or a sentence, or if someone is asking you for an answer with their confession, with someone with their profess, something they profess to you, diba? You need to, I can say, kailangan dapat mong paghandaan, pag-aralan, how do you respond on it without making gray areas. Kasi when people are rattled, diba? Parang, no, pero ganito, diba? So, pag-isipan nating mabuti yung pagsagot natin. It's not something to rush also. I think for people who confess their feelings as well, don't rush the person also to give you an answer right away. I think it always goes both ways. Hindi pwedeng ipin lang yung burden dun sa taong nakatanggap ng profession or nung confession. There should be also on the side of the one who confess, maghintay din ho kayo. Parang you learn to understand if the person cannot answer it right away, diba? Or if di pa siya makasagot, please don't, alam mo yung guilt trip na approach. Alam mo yun, di ba? Parang, okay, sige, I'll wait for your reply, ganyan. Pero, everyday, mabanatan ng, alam mo yun, mga hirit.
Tayo na ba?
Yung mga gano'n, di ba? Parang,
yung magjo-joke na yan.
Yung magjo-joke, yung papadaanin sa joke. It's not a joke, actually, guys. I don't want to hurt the feelings of other audience. Baka yun yung ginagawa niya. Pero, it's not good kasi I need to establish that. It's not good because it seems that you're power tripping or guilt tripping the other individual. Kasi mahirap na decision yun eh. Kailangan pag-isipan yung pag-yes or pag-no. It's not as if spur of the moment. May mga taong kayang mag-decide on the spur of the moment and then commit right away. There are people naman na cannot answer.
Decide right away.
Decide right away. And you don't need, di ba?
O kaya yung dangerous part would be yung tao, nasa proseso pa lang siya ng pag-learn niya ng how to say yes and no. Which means, madali siyang ma-move if the person is pressuring him or her.
Yes.
Diba? Na parang, kaka-pressure mo dun sa tao, kaka-subtle joke mo, unnecessary jokes, putting pressure kung sasagutin ka or hindi. And sinagot ka. Out of pressure. How would that feel with the person na sumagot?
Yes. Very yun. I can say it backfire. with your relationship or kung ano man magkakaroon kayo in afterwards after that decision, because
Mm-hmm.
some people who decide in terms of due to pressure or spur of the moment, sometimes they don't really understand how big the commitment afterwards of their decision. And
Mm-hmm.
sobrang deadly yun kasi it would be painful for both of you. No? So, siguro it always go, as I mentioned, lagi naman yan, it takes two to tango. So, don't pressure the one na pinaghihintay nyo ng sagot, yung mga nag-confess. That's a brave act, I can say, no? Brave act yung mag-confess. Kasi some people
Yes.
don't get to confess their feelings. Parang nag-spiraled out na lang, di ba? But
Mm-mm.
people who confess their feelings, I can say, guys, you are really brave people. It takes
Hats off.
guts and courage to, di ba? Hats off for you guys. To gather all your strength and your confidence and your courage to confess your genuine feelings to other people, to the other person, or your to someone that you like or you love, no? But also on the side of the one na pinagsabihan ng feelings na yun, it would also take a lot of courage and guts and confidence and strength para mag-say din ng yes or no sa inyo. So, it always goes both ways. So, don't let us parang be on the wag nating i-burden yung sarili natin sa mga ganong bagay. Wag nating i-burden, unnecessary burden or unnecessary anxiety dahil sa mga power tripping, diba? So, yun lang naman. It always goes both ways, guys. So, make sure lang na hindi kayo dun umaabot. Kasi mahirap yun. It would be very difficult. Lalo na yun, yung sa mga taong gusto ng sobrang, alam mo yun, step by step yung proseso. Medyo mahirap for them yun. It's not the spare of the moment decision. So, hihirapan tayo sa ganun.
Oo nga. I agree completely with Mel na having those kind of conversations with someone is very important. Lalo na when you are put into a difficult situation, need mo talaga pag-isipan. Kasi kapag hindi mo pinag-isipan, you will regret it. You might regret it. Sana hindi. Kasi mahirap magbitbit ng regrets. Diba? Kasi
yes,
it lasted for a couple of years or maybe hindi siya matanggal what if.
Yeah.
So you really need to be careful. And since din naman, for those people who are in the situation na parang na naging ganon or parang they are on this situation na may nasabi silang hindi maganda, you know better now. Diba? I would like to just comfort everyone. No, we are all in this process of growing.
Yeah.
So, whatever stage you find yourself in, just remember na you have always the opportunity to grow. Whether tomorrow, the next day, or the next minute, diba, the next second, you always have the opportunity to grow. So, kung nagkamali ka man ngayon, it's fine. You have to learn about it. Yun yung mahalaga. How do you learn and put into action yung learning na nakuha mo dun sa situation na yun. Diba? So, kasi naman, magwalo ka dun sa pagkakamali mo. I mean, you can cry. But then again, you need to get back up. Alam yan.
Agree. Yeah. Agree. That's I agree completely with Ben. You should always get lesson from everything that even mag-fail yun. Sabi nga nila, you win or you learn, diba? Yun lang naman yun. You win or you learn. So, I mean, sa tingin ko, yun nga, going back to the topic of our discussion, which is being a slow burn individual. I think it's a good time to be a slow burn individual. I mean, you don't need to be like exactly how Mela is right now, no? Or me right now, or kumbaga meron kayong kanya-kanyang pacing sa
Yes.
buhay, or how do you face yourself as a slow burn. But
Mm.
in these times that we are, I mean, everywhere, everything is accessible, mabilis siya, instant, lahat instant, 'di ba? It's a refresher for us to be a slow burn. Alam mo yun, hindi ka sumasabay sa agos. Kasi you would also see yourself na if you are going with the flow, mapapagod ka. Mapapagod ka lang kasi sobrang instant talaga ng buhay. And you might not see it on a different light, and you will not be able to appreciate it. So, I think being a slow burn, or kung di man kayo comfortable to the level of patience that it requires to be a slow burn, siguro I can say na yung ah alam niyo yung ginagawa ng ibang tao na they just take 30 minutes of their time per day just to do nothing, or 10 minutes of their time per day to do nothing and just appreciate what's around them. I think it's also a starting point. Alam mo yun, na
Mm.
hindi ka required to be on the go. You just need to be in the moment,
Steady. Yes.
diba? So,
Mm. Actually,
yun
yun
yung
yung i-add ko. Yeah. Na parang, what's more important din, one of the important things or of being a slow burn is to just be present.
mm,
And at the same time, even if you have that goal, you have to be in the now. Diba?
oo.
So, and at the same time, you are assessing what's happening in the now.
Mm,
So it's like process is as important as the goal. And even
yes.
if you go with the flow thing, mas importante pa din talaga na bakit ka ba nag-go with the flow? What's your intention?
Mm, yeah. Agree. Yun yung ano eh, people, I think given now our situation, ang hirap i-identify, i-identify ng mga why ng mga bagay-bagay.
Mm-mm.
Why I did this, or why it happened.
Mm-mm.
Yung aside from the why, minsan kasi na-identify natin kung bakit, what's the reason behind it. But how did it happen? Yung proseso of going into that situation, or how the situation evolved in front of you. Yun yung hindi natin ma-determine. And sometimes, yung how answers the underlying reasons on your identified reasons, no? Dun mo maiintindihan further. Okay, kaya pala nangyari ito dahil dito, and itong bagay na to nangyari siya dahil ito yung nangyari sa proseso.
Mhm.
So yun yung it goes hand in hand. They thought the how and the why is not the important questions, but I can say that's the most important questions. Bakit at paano? Kasi yung paano, you would be able to baga,
Yes.
di ba, weed out everything. Di ba? Ma-weed out mo lahat ng mga factors that affects the reason that you've identified and how and what happened in your situation, no? So don't forget to understand the process. Medyo madugo siya kasi in understanding the process, you're there, eh, 'di ba? Parang you are ano ba sabihin? This is ano kasi, there's siguro share ko na lang. Yung merong process sa nakalimutan ko. Sa thesis ko to, sorry. Sa thesis ko siya na ginawa. Anyway, sa master's thesis ko siya. There's a framework. They call it ORJI model, or ORJI model. So it's an acronym. Observation, reaction, judgment, and intervention. So it dissects the ORJI model helps you to dissect the event itself on a more detailed process. So what's your observation? What was your reaction? And how what based on your reaction, how did you judge
Mm-hmm.
Then after you judge, how did you intervene or what's your intervention? Because sometimes iba yung iba yung naging reaction mo, tapos naging iba yung judgment mo, and naging iba din yung intervention mo. So doon maraming factors, doon mo makikita what are your biases,
Mm-hmm.
bakit naging different yung ano mo. Okay, nagturo na ako. Sorry guys.
Yes! Actually,
Isip ko
okay
lang.
pa yun. Actually, pwede mo nga siyang i-apply whenever you have any situations in your life, not just like this,
Mm,
no, na we are talking about. It's
yeah.
very useful for those people who are into journaling and processing themselves, their thoughts, and their
Yes.
emotions. It's very useful. And for those who are not, you should try it. You should start. Kasi it's a simple framework eh.
Mm,
Observation, anong observation mo, ano bang nakita mo sa sitwasyon na meron ka, anong naging emotional reaction mo, paano ka nag-react, nalungkot ka ba, masaya
oo.
ka ba, anong naging
Yes.
judgment mo with that kind of emotional reaction. So kung
Yes.
nalungkot ka, bakit ka nalungkot? Na-feel mo kasi
Mm,
na-judge ka na. You felt na
oo.
toxic niya. Pero at the same time, what did you do if you felt that way, if you have observed that person that way? Diba? So,
Agree.
kinonfront
Yes.
mo ba siya? Tinago mo ba sa sarili mo? Pag tinago
Mm,
mo ba, will that make you feel at peace? Diba? How long
yeah.
will you keep it to yourself? Or
Mm,
you can easily let it go. So, yung mga ganong bagay, kahit hindi mo naman siya formally ilatag na isulat, pero much better if
yes.
isulat mo siya. It
Oo.
will help you
Agree.
make a sound decision when you encounter
Yes.
something.
Yeah, yun, mukhang alam ni Mela yung framework. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
that's the specific framework really for journaling. Or so, yung mga nagdi-dear diary, I understand na may mga diary pa rin. Pero sometimes, yung yung journaling kasi it's a way to understand your yourself. It's a tool to understand yourself further. Kasi kapag nakita mo, okay, every time na napupunta ako sa ganitong situation, kahit iba-iba yung event or
May
happenings
patterns.
that happen, similar yung nagiging intervention ko or similar yung nagiging judgment ko, and there would be a pattern and you would understand, okay, kaya pala ganito yung lagi kong intervention because ito yung laging lumalabas na factor whenever I'm into judging kung ano yung magiging sorry, in the process of having my judgment, kaya nagiging ganitong intervention ko. Or sometimes you have a clear and right judgment but your intervention says otherwise. So how it happened, kasi usually dapat linear yan eh, pero nagiging multi-related siya. Kasi marami mga factor na nag-a-affect dun sa intervention mo, which is not connected to your judgment or sometimes contrary to your judgment. So, malaking bagay yun, guys, to understand yourself better. And yun nga, kung if you're into the journaling, meron pa yung mga you start first with the journal naman. You don't need to follow right away the framework. You just
Yes.
need to point out siguro, like, simple lang naman yun eh. Simple question lang yun. Like, ito yung nangyari, what was your reaction, what was your, kahit wag na muna yung judgment kasi medyo mahirap i-distinguish yung reaction and judgment eh. Sometimes
Oo.
kasi reaction is nagiging somewhat overlapping siya dun sa judgment mo. Pero what was your reaction? Diba? Then, what was your action, no? Now, the next question kasi dyan is, given a chance that you would be put on that situation again, what will be the difference, diba? Would you still be having your same action or reaction, diba? Or your intervention? Then, you would be able to understand bakit pareho pa rin yung sagot ko? Bakit iba na pala? So, dun mo ma-realize na maraming factors na hindi, kumbaga parang nire-rewind mo yung buhay mo eh, di ba? Di ba? Sabi nga nung prof ko sa masters before, when he was teaching this framework to me, you are putting yourself behind the camera and you're trying to capture yourself in front of the camera when you are observing yourself nung ginagawa mo yung proseso na yun. So, medyo mahirap siya intindihin. Medyo, medyo ano siya, no? Medyo, I can say ideological. Pero, isipin mo na lang you're behind the camera and you're able to capture your life event
Mm-mm.
and you'll have a different perspective, diba?
Mhm. And whatever that kind of perspective that you have observed through that camera serves also as a learning ground or learning curve for you.
Yes.
Kasi naalala ko lang din doon yung parang isang picture na parang how media captures a situation. Na parang, halimbawa, may parang attempt na sasaksakin pero nakafocus lang dun sa kamay. And when you look back to the bigger picture, hindi naman talaga ganun yung situation. Pero they tend to focus on that certain stuff. So, when you realize that you are focusing on that certain stuff and going through this framework, diba, you will find out really why. So, we are not just talking about anymore na being a slow burn individual, but pero I can still weave it to that in a sense na parang being a slow burn individual, diba? I told earlier na it's important to ask difficult questions to the person you are talking to for you to be able to know who he is or she is. So,
it's equivalent also to asking yourself the difficult questions.
Yes. It's very important also na in the process of getting to know someone and you being in this journey of life, you have to ask yourself your difficult questions too. To keep yourself in check if you are really in tune pa dun sa priorities mo of the moment, to your goals at the moment, diba? Ano ba yung, for example, if in terms of growth, diba? Anong klaseng growth yung gusto mo? You have to specify ano yun for you to be able to be fully attuned to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think yun yung beauty din, diba? Na parang from being a slow burn, it expanded not just to the relationship itself, but to assessing yourself and the other person. And I think it goes both ways din naman with other types of rushing into love. Diba? It's just that you realize it later when you're in the situation. But the thing with slow burn, you realize it or you tend to process it before the relationship happened. Or parang through the course of getting to know someone without putting any pressure or parang having this goal na parang halimbawa 6 months magiging tayo na, walang gano'n. Diba?
Unless, may timing, no? May timing.
Parang after 1 month we will decide kung ano na tayo. Well, it depends, diba? It depends.
Depende. Malay nyo naman yun ang pag-usapan nyo, diba? Parang, okay, you have both
feeling check, gano'n.
Agree, diba? Ano lang, milestone checking lang, diba?
Oo. It
parang sa project timeline lang, may audit lang, how do we progress?
Smart objectives po tayo dito, sasabihin. Specific, measurable, attainable po ba ito?
Attainable.
Relevant.
Realistic and relevant, diba?
And
time-bound.
6 months, time-bound.
Diba? At least, diba, you all, I think it's also important, diba? Parang hindi siya open-ended. Okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with setting timelines, okay? There's nothing wrong. Actually, it's important to set timelines. So you know also when can you sit back, discuss, and tell to each other, okay, andito na tayo. So what's our next move? Kasi importante yun lalo na kung ang intention mo talaga is, let's say, okay, you want to let's say lang, you want to befriend the other person. And along the way, you felt that, okay, I think the person is someone that I can, parang nagugustuhan ko yung tao na yun. So, sinabi ko. But you also said na, for example lang, sinabi mo, kunyari lang si Mela yung tao na yun. No? So, sa mga kausap niyo sa ano, mga friends natin diyan. Okay, binibigyan ko na kayo ng tip ha, ganito gagawin niyo, ha? Ganito, ganito mapakinggan. Kung nakikinig kayo ng podcast ko, follow niyo na rin yung magiging YouTube channel ko para at least alam niyo kung paano niyo didiskartehan si Mela, no?
Bali.
Anyway, bakit? Binibigyan ko sila ng tip, okay? Kasi, guys, guys, binibigyan ko na kayo ng tip. Ako kasi namumblema sa mga galawan nyo, eh. So,
Baliw ka. Oh.
and alam ni Mel yan, di ba? Ano ba?
Sige lang.
Natatawa ako. Anyway, ano to, tips ka mga Discord friends natin dyan, no? Anyway, yung ganito, for example lang, gusto kayo kay Mela, di ba? And, sana ako, nawala yung train of thought. Natatawa kasi ako, eh.
Ayan.
Ayun, kunyari yun nga. Kunyari, gusto nyo, di ba, friend nyo si Mela, ganyan. Tapos, along the way, you find yourself, masyado kasi mahaba yung hair ni Mela. From Paco to Manila to Quezon City. So, mahaba yarn.
Madaming stops.
Oo. Medyo mahaba ho, no? Ganun yung distance from Paco to QC. I can say, no? So,
okay.
ganun kahaba yung buhok ko niyan. So, anyway, umabot ko po yun ng mga birthday party.
Nakakaloka. Okay.
Sorry. Mga inside jokes ko namin. Mga off the record discussion. Anyway, yun nga. So, going back. Yun nga. You find yourself, let's say, have a feelings with someone. Or let's say, yun nga. Gagawin na example si Mela dito. You find yourself have a feelings with Mela. And you said, okay, ito yung feelings ko. And syempre, hindi pa naman siya makakapag-react. Kasi nga, knowing Mela, he's a slow burn person. So, hindi siya pwedeng, hindi niya natural state na mag-react right away. Okay? And you don't need to demand that. Pero you can say, okay, can we revisit this 6 months from now? If ganun pa rin. Diba?
Revisit. Okay.
Diba? I mean, kailangan ata dapat linawin yung ganun. So, ako, suggestion ko sa mga Discord friends natin dyan, pwede nyo sabihin yon yung ganong line. Baka pwede nating i-revisit yung discussion na to 6 months from now. Pero, please, wag namang every day, every week.
5 months na lang.
Oo, 5 months na lang. May count 20 days from now. Yung mga ganon, no? 1 week to go. Mag-revisit na tayo. Hindi ganon. I mean, it's okay to note of it, di ba? Parang, okay, let's say mag-usap kayo March ngayon, di ba? March 15. O, balikan nyo after 6 months. O, September. O, pero wag yung may countdown. Wag yung may pa-countdown. No? Wag ganun, guys. Kasi medyo awkward naman yun. Kasi it would, if it's genuine, it would come natural.
Yes.
That I'm sure. Ayun, ako naniniwala ako sa ganun. Kung genuine yung feelings, kung ano man, actually, everything that is genuine would always comes naturally. Lahat yun, I mean, in everything you do in life, if it's genuine, it always comes naturally. Marami na akong instances na napatunayan yun. I can say, one of our recordings ni Mela nung first season, I can say it's one of the genuine discussions I had for the longest time. No? So, tagal namin nag-usap noon, no, guys. Hindi pa kasi, kinat ko pa nga doon yung kinat ko pa yung after session. After recording namin doon, kung ako talaga. Sobrang tagal nung discussion na yun. And, tama Mel, no? Parang, hindi naman tayo parang instantly lang yun, nagkayaan lang tayo mag-record.
Yes, oo. Actually, we haven't asked about anything about ourselves even before talking.
Yeah. Oo. Parang dun lang tayo nagkakakilanlan talaga. And I can say it's one of the genuine discussions I had during the first season na sobrang sobrang fun lang for me, no? Ano yun, hindi ko na nga nasama yung recording na ano. Ang dami pa namin pinag-usapan. Pero sobrang sobrang fun lang. And sabi ko nga sa kanya, I had discussion with Mel, I think 2 days ago ba, Mel?
Mm-mm.
Yung hindi, ayun, okay. Natatandaan ko na.
Ayaw mo
Daming,
yan.
okay. I had discussion with Mel 2 days ago. I think, sabi ko sa kanya na parang, yun nga, sabi ko sa kanya, uy, tapos na yung first season, ganyan, planning to have second season. And sabi niya, sabi ko sa kanya, if you can guess, please, join me for another round, no, for the recording. And she right away decide na, sige, join ako dyan, ganyan. And, ano pag-uusapan namin? So, nag-usap namin ng mga topics. So, medyo premeditated yung ibang discussions dito. Yung ibang naging discussions namin was discussed already before. Pero, yun nga, iba pa rin yung different take pa rin nung nag-usap namin dito. Pero yun nga, going back to my point, para tapusin ko na itong punto na to. Sabi ko sa kanya, babalik lang ako doon sa gusto kong i-emphasize yung genuine intentions, genuine feelings comes natural eh. Sabi ko sa kanya, I didn't thought that the recording would turn out beyond that, yung recording lang. Parang I can say kasi we're friends ba? Di pa sure.
Oo.
Di pa sure, yun na joke lang. I can say na friends na kami ni Mel. Nandun na kami sa stage na. We're friends. We share stuff na hindi na siya na-record pero yung mga bagay na napag-uusapan namin medyo I can say it's a thing na pinag-uusapan na normal na magkaibigan, no? So sabi ko nga it blossoms to friendship na I can say na sobrang thankful din ako for that, for the recording. Isa yun sa mga nagiging thankful ako sa podcast kasi I get to know other people and turn out to have a good friendship with them, no? So alam naman ni Mel, sinabi ko na sa kanya.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. So yun yung point ko na if it's a genuine interaction or feelings or kung ano man, basta genuine siya, it always comes naturally. Parang hindi siya mahirap. And kung genuine yung feelings mo sa tao, madali mong sabihin sa kanya na, okay, can we revisit it after 6 months? Kasi I want to know where do we stand. And mafe-feel ng tao yun eh. Hindi siya magmumukhang, ay, may deadline or may due date, di ba? Hindi siya ganoon eh. Mafe-feel niya na, okay, he or she's kinda invested also on knowing what will happen after 6 months. Diba? Importante yun eh. Yung merong, I think, yun yung nawawala sa mga tao. Parang, di mo na sure yung timeline. Pero yun nga, may caveat yun, which is, don't be too stubborn naman na medyo power tripping in a sense. Pinapaalala mo everyday, alam mo yun. Nag-set up ka ng countdown. Alam mo yun, may website ka pang gagawin. Countdown to revisiting the time. Diba? Wag naman ganun. Oo, wag ganun. Medyo, medyo creepy side yun. So, yeah, that's, I think, in connection to a slow burn, I think, being a slow burn or if you want to be with a slow burn person, first requirement is you need to be genuine.
Yes.
Kasi mahirap pag hindi ka genuine na tao. Tapos, gusto mong i-pursue yung slow burn na tao. Kasi, ang hirap mag-take.
Alam mo, mabobore ka lang din. I'm
diba?
telling you, kung sino ka man, na hindi genuine. Kasi later, pag challenge ka talaga if your intentions is true. Kasi,
yes.
hindi mo agad mamumove yung taong yun eh. Kasi, that person is also thinking about what you are, who you are. And kung sa taong yun, very clear sa kanya kung ano yung hanap niya dun sa interaction na yun, you will not be, parang matagal na mag-uusap.
Automatic yun. Talaga.
Baka day one pa lang ligwak ka na, ganun.
ano ka na, force evict ka na.
First EV, kuya, 100 points.
Oo.
Alisin na
100 points po. Parang peke po kasi siya. 'Di ba? Pag hindi ka genuine, sobrang hirap nun. Lalo na kung slow burn yung tao. Kasi you need to fake everything. And when you fake everything, you need to be consistently faking it. And
Mm-mm.
I would blatantly honest with you guys. Sobrang mahirap mag-fake ng tao, mag-fake ng
Personality.
ng personality mo kasi ano yan may slips yun. Palagi may slips yun. Subconsciously you slip up. And it's not good. So just be honest with yourself. Just be honest with the person that you like. With yourself also, 'di ba? So kasi kung trip ka na, kung isipin nyo na lang ganito na lang. Sobrang galing mo mag-fake. Sabihin na natin idol ka sa pagkakaroon ng fake character, 'di ba?
Mm-mm.
Nandun ka na sa point na yung tao nag-decide na, okay, I like this guy or I like her. Pero you build the fake character or fake personality. Yun yung nagustuhan niya. Hindi niya nagustuhan yung personality mo at all. Diba? So you're like,
Nahihirapan ka.
diba? You're leaving the fake personality and sobrang kailangan mong consistently up par dapat yung movement mo, yung galaw mo, yung attitude mo, lahat ng sasabihin mo up par dun sa personality or character na nagustuhan ng tao. And sobrang training yun, guys, for you. I can say, sobrang training yun. So just be natural, diba? Sabi nga ng friend ko yesterday. Sabi ko sa kanya, how do you ang tanong ko sa kanya was sa tingin mo ba anong nagugustuhan sa'yo ng tao? Ganyan. Sabi niya, sa tingin ko nagugustuhan sa akin ng tao is totoo lang ako. Kung ano lang ako, wala akong pinipeke. They get me as I am. Parang gano'n. Sabi niya sa akin. So, I appreciate his answer and I guess sobrang tumatak lang sa akin yun na they get me as I am. Kung ano ako sa inyo, ganun din ako dun sa magiging partner ko or sa ibang tao. So, hindi ako napapagod. Sabi nga, hindi ako napapagod kasi nga hindi ko naman pinifake yung personality ko, which was really good for me. So, shout out dun sa kaibigan ko. Paul, shout out sa'yo. Bihira ka na lang magsalita. Haba ng hair mo. Pangalawang episode na siyang na-shoutout dito sa episode sa mga sa pod ko. Pero yun nga, yung tao na yun sobrang as is where is. kung ano siya sa lahat, ganun din siya sa ibang tao. And I think that's where people appreciate him. Ako din personally, sobrang parang totoo lang siya. So it also helps me to be true to myself as well. And
Yes.
Yun, it's really helpful siya sa akin. I think na-apply ko siya dito, na-apply ko siya sa naging friendship namin ni Mel. Siguro kung fake ako, 'di ba? Hindi namin pag-usapan yung mga pondo ng Pinoy, yung mga ganyan.
Yes.
So, ayun, it was really fun. So, I think it goes both hand eh.
Oo.
Okay, go.
Easier din if you are also genuine to yourself. Kasi what you are right now attracts what you want to be then eh. For example, if you want to attract genuine people that are growing and you are the person na genuine ka and at the same time you are in the process of growing, those genuine people that are growing also, you attract them. So, even though kahit fake ka, for example, you fake you fake your growth, for example. Kahit na-attract mo yung genuine person na who is on the process of growing, later on talaga, malalaman yun. You will be vulnerable. You will come to a point na, yun na yung tinatawag sa slow burn na parang, since this is a slow burn, we all know na it takes time for you to build vulnerability and trust to a person. So the moment you got the trust and the person went vulnerable to you, ang bigat nun for you if you are
Yeah.
faking your personality. Kasi it
Oo.
will be your conscience eh. Diba? Up to what extent will you carry this fake thing for that person na nagpakatotoo lang naman sa'yo, diba? Why are you so bad? Joke lang. Joke lang.
Nasama ninyo. Joke lang.
Pero kasi yun
Yeah.
kahit may mga ganong imperfections, kung ganun ka, then you have to accept your mistake when that happened. You have to get
you own it
you
up.
have to process yourself. You have to own it up. Diba? You have to be accountable for what you did. I mean, lahat naman nagkakamali, lahat naman nagsisinungaling, lahat naman nagfi-fake minsan. Pero the gravity of your fakeness and lying, that's when parang doon mo i-measure kung gaano kabigat ka magiging accountable sa sarili mo or sa iba.
Agree. Yun nga. Sobrang hirap to, I think it would be also, aside from, siguro in connection with the conscience na topic, yung tipo na alam mo din sa sarili mo na you are taking it or taking something towards another person. Yung conscience kasi parang, I don't know if you can shut it down, but I don't think it's a good thing to shut down your conscience. And mahirap din yun because it would backfire. Okay, it doesn't end with knowing for other people na niloko or parang was para ba sabihin, parang yung mga nameke or nag-take and yung niloko nila, it doesn't end there na okay, niloko mo ako, saktan ako. Okay, that ends there, no? You need to also understand, parte ng konsensya mo, yung magiging after effect sa tao. Na kapag even you parang na-cut off na yung relationship nyo or communication nyo and all, no? Kasama pa rin ng konsensya mo yung, okay, how the other, ano yung magiging reaction ng tao na yun sa susunod. Yun nga, yung after effects na tinatawag. Yung after effects na would it be traumatic for her or him? Would he or she will be able to trust other person? Would there be always a doubt every time he or she interacts with other individual or new individual? Medyo hindi yun nakaka-capture ng konsensya minsan. Ikaw yung nagkasala, hindi niya nakaka-capture, hindi niya nakikita yun. Pero you need to understand it also has an effect or parang mayroon ka ding contribution bakit naging ganun yung makikitungo niya na after that event because it brings trauma dun sa tao and it develops to a fear, diba? And medyo nagiging affected yung pakikisalamuha niya sa mga other individuals. So, you need to be extra careful sa ganun. So, sana wag niyo i-shut down yung consent. I know people can do that, but please don't.
Yes, tama. Tsaka, mas maganda talaga if things are not forced. Diba? Na parang you just let the things grow organically.
Yeah.
Kasi mapapansin mo naman yun whether faking for your personality or not. Minsan kasi yun nga, yung pamempressure, you're forcing romantic situations to happen or fina-fast forward mo na malaman lahat dun sa taong yun. Day 1 pa lang, lahat ng nasa slumbook, itatanong mo, diba? So, maano mo siya, yung parang diba, like, anong full name mo, anong age mo, ganyan.
Anong motto mo?
Anong motto mo, gano'n. What should you say
What was
to
your
me?
embarrassing moment?
Oo, yung mga gano'n. So, asking those questions na parang, kasi napansin ko din yun when talking to people. Sometimes, we tend to lay all our cards or parang ask all the questions. Kasi we are just interested and we are worried na Baka
Mm.
mamaya, bukas di na kami mag-usap nito. Pero you have
Oo.
to understand and keep in mind na may mga bagay kasi na hindi mo dapat fin-force. Na parang kung ano lang yung flow ng conversation nyo today, that's fine. Tomorrow, if there is an opportunity, if hindi mo talaga siya mawaglit sa utak mo, gusto mo talagang itanong kung ilan yung ex niya, kung sino ba yung ex niya, di ba?
Oo, yeah.
Find the right
Tsaka may
time.
ano, may swabe na approach.
Oo,
Yun, 'di ba?
oo,
May swabe na approach. Para
oo.
kasing iba ano random lang parang good
Yung tipo,
morning, ilan
good
ex mo?
morning. Oo. Parang tumahimik ka naman, girl.
Oo.
Don't
Walang
put
ka
the other
timing
person
timing.
in an awkward situation din naman. Kasi,
Yes.
'di ba, syempre, yung impression sa'yo ng tao is very important. Then, lalo na kung di pa
Mm,
kayo nagkikita and you make those things. 'Di ba? So, parang,
yeah.
kailangan talaga, pinag-iisipan mo din yung mga gagawin mo. Pero,
Yeah.
syempre, bilang tao na nagkakamali at natututo, minsan you have to let yourself be in that situation para lang ma-realize mo na mali ka talaga. Kasi sometimes,
Mm,
when you don't experience these things, it feels theoretical for you. 'Di ba?
yeah.
And parang,
Agree.
kahit siya, theoretical siya for you, parang it doesn't make sense. It feels like
Mm,
it's a jargon na parang
yeah.
na makakalimutan mo din kasi di ka naman nakaka-relate. So,
Oo, tama.
when you experience it, that's when the time na parang, shucks, oo nga, maling move. Ganun.
Oo,
So,
tama,
it's
tama.
still okay. I mean, we advocate self-love here and learning and growing, diba? So,
Agree. Yeah, definitely that's part of the I mean, hindi naman ako nagfo-focus ng advocacy. It's part of of the purpose of this podcast. To
yes.
learn about yourself. Kasi yun din naman yung sinabi ko nung I think first episode ng pod na this is a self-expression podcast. Um, it's meant to it's meant to be a thing for me to do my self-expression. It's just that meron kami mga topic involved, may mga nakakausap tayo, mga tao that has probably similar stories, probably similar experience, or similar intentions or advocacies to have self-expression, self-confidence, self-love, diba? Part yan sa mga natin mga pinopromote natin here in the pod.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, basically that's it
Mm-mm.
naman no.
Tsaka, can
Siguro
I share
yeah,
din,
sure.
a quote, kasi may nabasa lang din kasi ako. Parang when it
Yeah.
comes to not forcing anything. Ganon.
Mm,
So, sabi kasi ni Ramdas, sabi niya, when we feel love for another, it's not because love resides with them. They don't own that love, nor do they give it to us. We
mm,
don't find that love when we find them, nor do we fall into it. We can only fall into a pool, a puddle, or a God-forsaken abandoned well, but we can't fall into love because we already are loved. So parang yung love na yon, it's within us. They are just simply
yeah.
activating it. So,
Yes,
syempre,
yes.
for another person to activate it, sana, wag naman dun sa part na finorce activate mo, di ba? Parang sa
Yeah.
emergency, pipindutin mo or something like that. Di ba?
Hindi
Parang,
tayo hindi tayo fire alarm.
yes, oo, na
Yes,
parang, wag mo naman wag mo i-force na parang,
yeah.
just because the person is attractive to you physically, you have to force it na parang,
Oo,
okay, focus, we will be in love in this person. Pero yun
yeah.
nga, it's already within us. It just needs some activation, 'di ba, from other people. And siguro
People.
maganda yung moment na halimbawa, yung sinabi ni Pablo Neruda, isa siyang poet. Sabi niya, "You make me thank God for every mistake I ever made because each one led me down the path that brought me to you." 'Di ba? So parang mas maganda yun, na parang kung ganun yung nangyari, di ba? Na parang lahat ng pinagdaanan mo, because I processed
Eventually,
myself.
you'll be thankful.
Yes, I patiently waited. So, lahat ng bagay na na-weave ko, na-process ko sa sarili ko, it led me to you. And that's really
Mm,
beautiful, I think. 'Di ba? Para
yeah,
sabihin mo yun sa taong mahal mo.
agree, agree. I think it captures the very essence of how love should work or how love should be, 'di ba? Yung kumbaga
Para atayin sa forever, no?
yeah, para sa forever, no? Oo.
Mm-mm.
Pareho kasi kami naghanap ni Mela ng ng
Hindi nga daw
forever.
niya hinahanap.
Pero sinusupport ko siya. Actually, yung part of my advocacy is magkaroon ho siya ng show. Kaya nga
Last
ho ako
season pa
gumagawa
siya.
ng kaya ako gumagawa ng podcast. Last season pa po ito. Pero ay yung advocacy na yon, no. Pero so far lang ho. Tanggapan lang ho ako ng mga reklamo.
Bali,
Joke lang.
naging concern center. Ano yun?
Hindi, joke lang. Alam naman ni Mel na the line is always
Yes.
he knows that, no. We don't usually talk naman so much, but she knows that the line is always open.
Same with
Uh,
mine.
as long as I have internet. Joke lang. Hindi. Ano naman, yun, just one away message. Yung yun yung sinabi ko sa kanya. So she knows that already. But yeah, I think it encapsulates how love should work. Not just romantically, but also with other people, with your loved ones, with your friends, with people that you met. No, it's always a process, and I can say siguro not really somewhat directly related to that, but you'll be able to connect everything lang kapag tapos ka na dun sa process. And you'll be able to understand why it happened because of this and this and this. And everything falls into pieces lang. But you'll not be able to understand that if you're still in the process. So just enjoy it. You can sit back and understand, parang reflect on it. But habang nandoon ka sa proseso, minsan na nag-narrow down yung view mo. So the challenge is to have a bigger perspective, bigger view on things. I think that's that's a challenge, but it also solves a lot of conflicts,
Mhm.
miscommunications, and problems and issues to arise if you'll be able to just look on a higher perspective, or parang kumaga ganito na lang. Kung nasa
Okay.
building kayo, kung ang tingin nyo is nasa ground floor lang kayo, try to go to the upper floors or pinakataas or sa roof
Rooftop.
deck, sa
Mm-mm.
rooftop. You'll be able to see it different, and you'll be able to appreciate, and you'll understand, okay, hindi lang naman pala to yung problema na experience ko, or hindi pala siya talaga problema at all.
Mhm.
Masusolusyonan pala siya.
You
So,
have to
yeah.
know yung when to go micro and
Yeah.
macro, no?
Yes.
To look in looking at situations. Although most of the time, ano naman dapat, ganun, laging dalawa yung gamit mo.
Laging dalawa. Dalawang lente palagi.
Mm-mm. Isang naka-zoom, isang naka-zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out ka. Lagi.
Tama. Agree. Wag lang sabay, no? Medyo baka mapulot kayo.
Kaya maging blurred, no? Ganun
Maging blurred eh. Okay. So you try to look at it on the small, detailed perspective and get the bigger picture afterwards. But either or naman, there's no order on that, but it always goes hand in hand before you make a decision. So you'll be able to understand sino yung maapektuhan ng decision na yun when you arrive on that decision or you execute that decision. Oh, malaking bagay yun. Siguro, well, there are two things, no, before we end the episode, Mel. Things, no. Number one, how do you conclude how everything is connected? Genuineness, to the slow burn, everything that we what is your conclusion, and after that conclusion, how do you describe in a drink anong drink yung magde-describe nung napag-usapan natin tonight
Hmm,
without any explanation. Yan, di ba medyo pa mysterious.
ganun ba yun?
Yun ang ano ko ngayon, yun ang format ko. Pero nung first episode wala eh.
Yes.
So ngayon lang ako naisip talaga.
This is great actually. We have to commend Mel for this. So,
Thank you.
So for the first question, how will I connect it? I think all of the factors, like, syempre, yun nga, importante na genuine ka. You are
Mm.
clear with yourself, what you
Mm.
want in that conversation or in that relationship. At the same time, you are aware what it takes, diba? Para ma-cultivate mo yung relationship na yun. At the same time, you have to also be, like, patience, diba? Yung patience, honesty, good communication, and whatever that we have talked about earlier. And at the
Yeah.
same time, yung processing sa sarili and sa person na involved dun sa situation, it's very important. Kasi nga, we have talked about assessing the other person is as important also na ina-assess mo din yung sarili mo. Diba? So, kung makikita mo siya, parang sobrang komplikado pala when you really try to take to know someone in the purpose of, halimbawa, for example, romantic relationship or having just a platonic relationship. Ang dami mong pagdadaan ng proseso. Diba? And kung ikaw ay nasa proseso pa lang din ng, I mean, lahat naman kasi tayo, we will be always on the process. For me, parang we cannot really achieve the part na stop na ako sa proseso ng lahat. Kasi there will always be something na we get to process. Or we get to learn, we get to unlearn. So, yun, while still on the process of it, makikita mo talaga na parang ang dami mong need matutunan sa tao. Ganyan. And taking your time and being patient, and being deliberate in this type of setup. Mas dun mo nakikilala yung tao. Yung insecurities niya, yung struggles niya, magbibigay yun ng lalim dun sa pagkakakilala mo sa isang tao. And syempre ikaw din sa sarili mo, since we said na you have to assess yourself very well din during the process. Kasi darating nga sa point na dun ka magde-decide if whatever that is na you are building. If you only, of course, sa una, pwede mo naman, halimbawa, gayahin yung akin na parang, let's be friends and see if things will go somewhere, ganun. Or, pwede mo namang sabihin na, let's just see where it goes. Kung gusto mo yung ganung risk, kung gusto mo yung ganung setup. But still, you're still taking time. Na parang, hindi ko, parang, okay, let's see where this will go. Pero, let's not rush into it. Let's take things slowly. Or gusto mo yung sinabi ni Mel na mag-timeline kayo. Diba? By 3 months, dapat, i-assess natin kung ano na tayo, ganun. Pero syempre, yun nga, it's very important.
Kanya-kanya, guys.
Kanya-kanyang format. Wala tong standard, ganun. So, it really depends on how you see yourself, how you view yourself, what's important to you, and ano talaga yung intention mo dun sa bagay na yun. But, one thing, or one of the many things na slow burn can offer to you is to really know who you are, what you are as a person, and knowing the person for who they are also in a genuine point of perspective, diba? In a point of view. So, with that, kasi alam ko matagal. And actually, isa yun sa mga ko din, parang trigger for anxiety is that hanggang kailan ba, diba? Yung tanong din mo. Hanggang kailan ba? Bakit parang wala naman? Ganun. Pero kasi nga...
Nagawa ko naman.
Kasi... Kasi nga,
Ang
parang
boses ko nun, sorry. Edit ko yun.
whatever that is meant for you will always lead back to you. Naniniwala pa
Yeah.
din naman ako doon. Although we are
Mm.
having this space for rationality and irrationality, there are some things na irrationality comes in. Irrational matters comes in. Like, di ba, butterflies in stomachs, ganyan. And of course, for those who are into science, ang i-reason out nila is the indicators for producing those happy hormones, which I will not delve kasi hindi naman po ako maalam.